After voting for NAFTA, PNTR for China, and proposing the Trans-Pacific Partnership, now Joe Biden agrees with President Donald Trump on China and trade. Can you believe this? Oh, this is Robert Romano, Vice President of Public Policy with Americans for Limited Government. DailyTorch.com. Hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be talking about Joe Biden, and boy, does he want to do over on China. He has launched his presidential campaign. He's supposed to be the safe choice to take on President Trump. Lunch Bucket Joe, that's what they call him. And he's going to appeal to the union households that voted for President Trump in Pennsylvania and Ohio and Michigan that helped President Trump win the Electoral College. Trump ran on an America First philosophy on trade and getting out of NAFTA and redoing WTO with China. And it worked. He combined union households and conservative households in the Rust Belt, and that's why President Trump is president right now. It had nothing to do with Russia. It was Trump's appeal on specifically on the trade issue that helped get him across the finish line. And so when Joe Biden launched his presidential bid, he made a series of gaffes that, frankly, are going to make him unelectable. In May, on a campaign stop in Iowa, he said, China's going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. They can't even figure out how to deal with the fact that they have this great division between the China Sea and the mountains. They can't figure out they're going to deal with corruption that exists within the system. I mean, they're not bad folks. But guess what? They're not competition for us. Wow, not competition for us. That clearly belies the data where China, since they've entered the WTO circa 2001, they have increased their manufacturing market share very much so. They've gone from about 5% all the way up to 16% global manufacturing market share with data from the World Bank. They depreciated their currency in the mid 90s, and with that depreciation, they managed to increase their market share once they were in the WTO. And it's been like rocket fuel. Their competitive devaluations have helped them to increase manufacturing market share. In the meantime, since 2001, U.S. manufacturing market share has declined precipitously from about 13% in 2001 to 7.5% in 2007. Again, China's gone from 5% to over 16%. They did peak in 2015 at about 18%. So there's been a little slippage there for China, but they're still in a very dominant position vis-a-vis trade and global trade. Even with the Trump tariffs now going into effect, which, by the way, Trump is doing to try to get this under control, to help the economy to stabilize and begin to grow robustly again by bringing manufacturing market share, but overall global market share back to the United States, which, we haven't grown above 4% since 2000, not above 3% since 2005. We got up to 2.9% in 2018. We're growing at 3.2% in the first quarter of 2019. So fingers crossed we get that under control. But as we've lost over the past 20 years manufacturing market share, U.S. labor participation for working age adults has also declined very much so. And it's beginning to recover a bit during the Trump years. And so fingers crossed that continues. We have low unemployment, 3.6%. That's the lowest in 49 years. You have to go back to 1970 for numbers that good. So I think things are recovering. We just need to put China, take China on vis-a-vis trade. But you're probably not going to get that with Joe Biden. He doesn't think they're competition for us. And so this reminds you of the bravado of former President Barack Obama. He'd be talking about the U.S. economy so big or our military so powerful, and it'd always be followed by an obligatory quote, "It's not even close." Well, you can almost imagine Biden chiming in with, China's not competition for us. It's not even close. But clearly, China is competition for us. They've increased their global manufacturing market share. It's up close to 17% right now. And we're down to 7.5% global manufacturing market share. So clearly, China is competition for us. And this comes on the heels of Biden claiming that when he began running for president in a fundraising call in April, he said, quote, "I get calls from people all over the world. World leaders are calling me, and they're almost begging me to do this, to save the country, to save the world." And this is not what you tell people you're running for president. What is he running for president of the world? What a joke. And then but on June 11, now he started to change his tune. He realizes he sounds like a globalist, and he probably won't win in Ohio. So he's got in Pennsylvania. So he's got to change his tune. He's got to put on different clothes. And so now he says in a campaign stop in Iowa, quote, "We are in a competition with China. We need to get tough on China. They are a serious challenge to us, and in some areas, a real threat." This was from Zach Basu from Axios, his reporting here. And he compares Biden on May 1 to China's going to eat our lunch. They're not competition for us, to Biden today. "We are in competition with China. They're a serious challenge, a real threat." Wow, what an about face. So get your flip-flops ready. This guy doesn't have much consistency on these issues, and I don't know if the American people, particularly those in the Rust Belt, are going to buy into this new Biden, particularly when they find out about his voting record. When permanent normal trade relations came up in 2000, Biden voted for it. There it is, a bill to authorize extension of non-discriminatory treatment, normal trade relations treatment to the People's Republic of China, 83-15. And Joe Biden voted yay. Democrat, Delaware. He's been there forever. Joe Biden was one of the longest serving senators. Then he became vice president in 2009. And by the way, he was there when NAFTA was voted on too in 1993. North American Free Trade Agreement Implementation Act, NAFTA Worker Security Act, 61-38, and Joe Biden voted yay. So he voted for NAFTA. He voted for permanent normal trade relations with China. He's, pretty much a free trade Democrat. And so I don't know how he's going to run in Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania, being lunch bucket Joe. What a joke. I mean, this is not a serious candidate to take Trump on vis-a-vis trade, I don't think. He's even worse than Hillary Clinton, because Clinton wasn't there when some of these things were voted on. But it hurt her too once she got onto the campaign trail. Watch for Bernie Sanders to lay into Biden on NAFTA, on PNTR with China. These are this is Achilles' heel. He said he's supposed to pick up working class voters because but he's not working class. He's a globalist. He's siding with China. He thinks world leaders are calling upon him to save the world, to save America from what? America first, from President Trump, who's going to get tough with China and Mexico. No way. That's not gonna wash. And so I'll leave you with the ending here. He has to run against President Trump in 2020, whose core ethos is tough on trade. Who can blame Biden for realizing he needs a makeover? Thing is, voters, particularly those in the Rust Belt, have learned that trade talk is cheap. Tough on trade talk is cheap. But Democrats have been claiming to be tough on trade for a generation, but they failed. That's one of the biggest reasons Trump got elected. Now Biden wants a do-over. Of course he does. He can't change who he is. Lunch bucket Joe? What a joke. China would eat Biden's lunch and make him pay for the bucket. That's the commentary. This is Robert Romano, Vice President of Public Policy with Americans for Limited Government, dailytorch.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and have a great day.